Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the AutoCraft server. I've been doing some AFKing over at the witch perimeter, which we've been working on the past few episodes. And yeah, we have been here for quite some time. It's probably been about 24 hours of AFKing in total, and we hardly got any materials. We got all this stuff here. Now the main reason for that is the server's been insanely active recently, lots of new people on doing stuff, so this farm hasn't been all that decent. So we're going to be modifying this at some point, but we're not doing that today. Instead, today we're going to be working on a potion brewing setup because I want to get a large amount of potions for some upcoming projects. And when I say a large amount of potions, I mean, I don't know, maybe a shulker box worth of potions every minute. That sounds good. I have a design in mind, so let's head into a redstone testing world and we can take a look at this beast. Alright, so this is the brewing system we're going to use. Now, a few of you will recognise this as the design that's used on the SciCraft server. This thing is virtually identical, apart from a few minor tweaks I made to make this work in Minecraft 1.16. I'll leave a link to the video El Mango did in the description if you're wanting a block by block tutorial and an explanation behind this thing. So, it can produce a shulker box of items in about 45 seconds, sometimes a bit longer, sometimes a bit less. It all depends on how the game is performing. And it works like this. So, as you can see, we have a few options on this select panel selected. This has everything apart from 2 potions that are currently available in the game. So we'll need to modify this to include those potion variants. So yeah, all you do is you select the items. So as you can see, this is a strength 2 potion. So Nether wart, strength, and then strength 2. Then you press that button, and then within, say, a minute or so, a shulker box worth of potions will appear in this chest. Now you could hook up a shulker box loader if you really wanted, but I don't really see the point in that. Personally with this thing, I won't be using it all that much, but when I do, I'll just load the shulker boxes manually. So yeah, that is all there is to it. So what we need to do now is we need to actually go and build this thing, and it's going to require quite a lot of resources. Now fortunately, in terms of redstone supplies, we should have more than enough stuff, and yeah, I think we should have everything we need for this actually. Let me go and collect everything into a shulker box or 2, and we can start construction. So in these shulker boxes we have all the materials we're going to need to make this thing. In fact, we're missing some redstone, but you know what? I can just go and collect that from our storage system. Now, obviously, this thing is quite bulky, so we're going to be building it up on the surface so that we don't need to excavate anything. And we're also going to be building the building around it. So, like a kind of similar building like that, maybe. It really all depends. Also, we need to get the building for the super smelter done at some point. But yeah, we're going to be doing this. So I'm thinking, rather than working over there, because I've done a few projects over in that region, I want to, well, I don't know, let's say we put the building here right on the coast. So where all these flowers and things are, right here. So obviously we need to take into account the distance between the coast and the actual outer shell of the building, because I don't want to build it right on the coast because then it'll look strange. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use a schematic to line things up perfectly, just so that, you know, I get a good visualization of this thing before we construct it, because I don't want to construct this thing and then have to redo it or do some terraforming because I was a derp and messed up. We don't want any of that stuff. So I guess with that, let us get started. So what I'm thinking is we'll probably do the, the control panel first, because then we can build everything else based off of that, and then this thing should be built fairly quickly. Alright, so we placed the schematic in the world over at the original area, and yeah, this thing's a lot bigger than I thought it was, so we've had to move it. So we are currently, if I get some airtime right now, so we've moved from just beside the hole to right over here, because yeah, that's a decent little spot for it. And then what we can do is all the farms we're going to need to support the potions, we'll put them all in this area up here. Anyways, so we have the control panel all nice and in place. And yeah, like, obviously we're not using the quartz stuff that the stuff in the testing world was using. We went with the same colour scheme, so white and blue concrete with the smooth stone blocks on the floor, because that looks quite nice. I've also excavated some room back here so that we can fit in all the redstone components, because bear in mind, the brewing areas, or the brewing modules, are higher up on the left hand side, but as you slowly move right, they get lower and lower to the point where they're actually right down here. Hence why I didn't want to do it close to the coast, because I won't have to deal with water and stuff like that. But yeah, it is doing quite well. Now you'll see these droppers. So these are how the items will be distributed. So that is your nether wart, that is your other items, and then these ones here are for everything else. So like your glowstone, redstone, gunpowder, that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're doing quite well. So what I'm thinking is we're going to work from left to the right. So kind of gradually go down. So the leftmost module will be handling nether wart, and will also fit in the system that will deal with the water box. And then after that, it should be a fairly quick process to build the rest of it, because the modules are the exact same for all of them, apart from a few minor differences. So the water box section is in place, and the first module itself, which will make the awkward potions, is done. Yeah, it's fairly simple when you look at it here, but if we activate the schematic we're working with, so M and R to activate the schematic, yeah, we still have quite a lot of stuff to do. So what I'm thinking of doing is, the next steps, I'm probably going to do these redstone clocks right here. That will work our way down, and then I'll build the rest of the modules off of that. Now, since these modules are virtually identical, what we're going to do is we're basically just going to build the whole thing rather than doing progress updates, because that isn't really necessary. Once we have the thing built, my plan is to do some testing with minecarts, make sure minecarts lead everywhere, and now I need to go over this entire system and make sure it is ready to go. Yeah, obviously we won't be able to run this properly today because I don't have anywhere near enough resources for this. But yeah, we are making some fantastic progress, so let's get back to it. Alright, so the item collection system is now in place, which really didn't take all that long, and it is fairly simple. And we've also filled up some of this system with the materials we're going to need to make potions. Now, we are missing quite a lot, and even the ones I've selected here are the ones that have items in the item frames. Most of them aren't full, so let's go and take a look at the things we're going to need. So obviously we're going to need a lot more nether wart. We'll probably got to build a farm for that, in a couple minutes. We're going to need a blaze farm, magma cream farm, golden carrots are easy enough to get. We've got all the sugar, I got that from the witch farm, and I also have a sugarcane farm there, so yeah, sugar isn't hard to come by. If I press M and R, it will show the automatic render. We also need some pufferfish, glistening melons, and some rabbit's foots, which we're going to need to make farms for all of those items. We're also going to need a farm for gas, which I have a design in mind. It's custom built, of course, and we'll probably do that in an upcoming episode. We're full of spider eyes from the witch farm once again. I'm so happy I built that thing. Fermented spider eyes are fairly easy to make. We have all the components, apart from the mushrooms, which we're going to need to farm for that. Redstone, glowstone, and gunpowder are all full. And last but not least, dragon's breath, which is easy to get. We just need to go and spawn the dragon in, collect like 9 stacks of bottles, 8 stacks, and then call it a day there. Now, bear in mind, this setup was designed for 1.11, 1.12, so there is a few, I think there's 2 potion types that are missing from this. So we've got the potion of slow falling and the potion of the turtle master, which we're missing. But if we need any of those potions, we'll probably just breed them up manually, or we'll expand this system in the near future. So yeah, that is quite awesome. Now obviously what we need to do now is we need to put a skin on this building. We actually need a building here. So I'm going to need to go and collect some sand and gravel, and we're going to convert a lot of concrete powder into concrete. Alright, so I've made all the concrete we need. I've even got some glass. I had to go and get some more of that. And I've also laid out the boundary for this building. So let's actually go into spectator mode so that we can see the boundary without having to do lots of crazy flying. So yeah, it's fairly simple. It's a box. It's going to be a box just like the rest of our buildings with an open front, because I tried doing a room. So I placed some blocks just so get a feel for things. And I don't know, it just felt really cramped and claustrophobic. So having an open front storage system type thing, similar to what we had with the wood farm over there, seems to be the best bet. Now, also, I want to do lots of windows, similar to what we did in the tree farm over there as well, because I want to be able to see all the components inside here working along. So what I've done is I've made sure I come out at least 1 block from the boundaries, because, I don't want the actual glass panes connecting, because then the texture will just look horrible, and then it makes the building a little bit bigger. Now, I'm not entirely sure how big I want this thing to be. What I'll probably do is break it up into 2 sections. So we'll have a section that will house the actual brewing setup itself, So that'll be a bit taller and a bit more boxy, and then we'll have this section at the front where you come and collect your items. Now, this is a 4-block gap here, and we need to do something with this because it kind of looks a bit strange, because everyone else is kind of, we're working with odd numbers, and then this is even, so let's just say it's going to be interesting to get this thing done. Anyways, rather than doing this in the form of progress updates like we've done with the rest of this build, I think we should do this in the form of a third-person time-lapse. Alright, so we've got this structure all nice and finished, and personally I'm quite happy with it. I didn't know what I was doing going into this, so I just kind of bought a few things and went with the flow of it. I paused the replay recording quite a lot so that I can try some different things, and it's turned out quite nice. So why don't we take a little fly around, get some air right now, there we go. Yeah, so obviously I used a lot of windows, same as the other buildings that we have done. In fact, let's just go in and spectator mode. This is just so much easier doing it this way. Yeah, I'm happy with it now. There is a few places where, well, there's one place in particular right here where the redstone sticks through the outer skin of the building. Now, fortunately, this section can actually be moved, so we could probably like move it like over a bit, maybe back into this section, slightly rewire it a bit, and it should work just as well. But yeah, I'll do that at a later date because I don't want to touch it right now because, yeah, I'm scared in case I break something. Yeah, that would be very, very bad. Anyways, yeah, so we need to, obviously we're going to need to keep this filled with water bottles. So what we'll probably do is have like a back door around here, and then we can just go in and then do all your maintenance, because we need to get inside that to put in the water bottles and to put in the blaze powder for the brewing stands themselves. In terms of the actual components, so the materials we're going to need to make potions, there is a few things we can do. So obviously we have the spider eyes, the redstone, the glowstone, and the gunpowder are all coming from the witch farm already, along with sugar. Now we can almost make fermented spider eyes. The only thing we need to farm, the only thing we need to farm right now is basically mushrooms. So what I'm thinking is we'll probably get like one of those large mushroom farms, probably next episode or like in the future. We'll need dragon's breath. That's easy enough to get. All you need to do is spawn a dragon and then go and basically let it breathe dragon's breath on you and do your thing with the water bottles. Water bottles, no, normal bottles. What else? So gas farm, we're going to need to do that. Magma cube, yeah, we're going to need to do one of those. Blaze farm. What are these other options? I completely forgot what they are. Pufferfish, yeah. Like, since we don't do AFK fishing on this server, a lot of people think you can't do it anymore. You can, we just don't do it. So what we're probably going to have to do is spend a bit of time in a tropical ocean looking for these guys, or come up with a fish farm design, which I'm sure there is one. Blistering melons, which are easy, melons and gold. We've got plenty of gold because of the gold farms, the numerous gold farms we have in the server, and we can probably set up some, melon farms fairly easily as well. And finally, rabbit's foot, which is a lot harder to get, so we're going to need to come up with something for that anyways. But before we continue on with this episode, I need to go inside this thing and light it up, because I've been having some mobs. Yeah, look at that. There's quite a few mobs inside this thing, and we don't want them taking out the mob cap and then affecting our slime farm. Alright, so let's get started on this nether wart farm. Now, we're not going to be going through a lot of nether wart, because basically the way I look at it is we've got 9 brewing stands, and each time we brew up a shulker box worth of potions, we're only going to use 9 nether wart a piece. So the farm itself doesn't need to be all that large. Also, my chair just made a funny noise there. I don't know if you heard that. Now, I was going to put it back here, but I figured since we're going to be doing a mushroom farm, that's going to take up quite a bit of space because I want to farm up a lot of that en masse. So we're going to leave that bit for now, and we're not going to put it up there because I'm going to keep that little hill up there clear, because I just don't have anything, I don't have any plans for it. So we're just kind of going to put a big building here, or like the mushroom farm here, and I'll kind of taper off this section of the base. So what we're going to do instead is, right along this coastline, so from about, say, here, over this way, we're going to put the nether wart farm. Now, this system isn't going to be all that complex. It's basically just going to be a bunch of platforms that will have soul sand on them, obviously, and we'll put the nether wart there. And then right at the top there'll be water sources, and we'll retract some levels, and the water will then filter down through each of the levels into a hopper line. So yeah, that shouldn't take all that long to do. One thing we will need to do is we're going to need to go to the shopping district to buy some soul sand. I could go and mine for it, but we've got that many diamonds at this point that, you know, we might as well spend them rich, so why not? And we're going to need a lot more, gravel, because I am completely out. Alright, so we're over at Zmart right now. This is Zame's superstore. He merged all of his other shops into this thing, and basically what you do is each of these items in this chest represent a couple stacks of items. Well, it varies depending on each, and we wanted a shulker box of gravel, which is 1 diamond for 3 stacks, and a shulker box of sand, which is 1 diamond for 2 stacks. So we take the necessary items. Each of these items actually represent a shulker box, not a stack. Throw them in there, wait a little while, and then they'll be dispensed here. So we now have 2 shulker boxes worth, and we have receipts over here, so we owe 23 diamonds to the shop. So what we're going to do is we're just going to organise this all nice. So we owe 9 diamonds here, and 14 diamonds there. Awesome. Now that we have that, we can actually make a lot more concrete. Now we have one more stop. Now we're over at the Nether injector, which is also moved over here because the shop is a lot larger. And we're here because, well, they sell nether wart, which we don't really need, but we'll probably buy some. And they sell some soul sand. So what is it, 1 diamond for 2 stacks? So let's get, we're going to need some more diamonds. So let's just get like a stack of blocks ready. Just a casual stack of diamond blocks. Okay, so 1 diamond for 2 stacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get another couple stacks of nether wart. So 1 diamond for 2 stacks. So 1, 2, 3. Like so. And, oh, they do nether quartz. 1 diamond for 24. Alright, wow. I don't actually have enough storage for this right now. Awesome, so how much diamonds is that? That's quite a bit. So it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You know what? I'm going to go now to my inventory and I'm going to come back and buy out that entire stock. Alright, so it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 diamonds. We need to get ready. There we go. And we're just going to take all this stuff because we're going to be crafting a lot of, reservers soon. And we're going to need a lot of these quartz. Alright, so this nether wart farm should be a piece of cake to build. So I've just ran some numbers real quick, and my plan is we're going to do 3x9 platforms of soul sand, and obviously those platforms will have the nether wart on them. We're going to do 4 platforms, and then we're going to replicate that entire thing again. So we should have approximately 216 blocks of nether wart, or 216 nether wart crops, which should give us anywhere between 2 and 4 nether warts per nether wart. So yeah, we should be producing quite a lot of nether warts from this thing. Now, rather than doing this in the form of progress updates, because progress updates are boring and we're late in the episode now at this point, I thought we'd do this final build of the day in the form of a quick third person time lapse. Alright, so the nether wart farm is finished. It's smaller than I thought it would be, but yeah, I think it's a decent fit for the area, and I like the way this build has turned out. So I've let it run for a little while. It's nowhere near ready to harvest yet, but yeah, it's a fairly simple process. So if we want to harvest this thing, all we need to do is flick this lever and then let the water come down through the system, and it'll bring all the nether wart down here. And basically, rather than having hoppers and things, we're going to collect it manually and then store it, because we're going to have to move it anyways to go and put it in the potion setup. And yeah, I've got some additional storage here as well. Plus we can craft the nether wart into nether wart blocks for more compact storage. And then when we're finished, we flick the lever again, let the water recede, and then we can go and plant this. Now, it's fairly compact. Each layer is only 1 block tall, so obviously like down here we can plant it easily, and then up here we plant this platform, and then we can jump and plant this other platform. It really doesn't take all that long at all. Oh, look at that, I missed one. Haha. And then this one up here, which what we need to do is we open this, close this, shift, and then close this, and then we go prone. And now we can access this area. And up there is where all the water is. I won't walk in there because then I won't be able to get out. And yeah, that's all there is to this thing. This thing is now online. Let's just open both of those so that they're back in their default positions. And yeah, I am quite happy with this thing. So we now have a decent little nether wart farm. And hey, it fits into the area quite nicely. In fact, I haven't actually flew around yet to get a good look at this. I've seen it in the replay. But if we just pop up here, yeah, it's small and quaint. I'm actually quite happy with it. I didn't know what I was going to do with this build when I was doing it. So I just placed, obviously as you saw, I placed the farm in first and then just built like a white cube and then and then did my thing. And yeah, it looks good. Now what we might do in the future is replicate this thing on the opposite side of the little entrance area. And then that'll look quite nice. I'm also going to double carpet the doorways rather than having any doors, because then mobs won't be able to get in, which is also quite sweet. But yeah, next time what we're going to do is we're either going to work, well, we're going to be working on farms to do with the potion brewing setup. So this could be like a, what do you call it, a magma cube farm, a gas farm, a mushroom farm. I'm not entirely sure yet. So make sure you subscribe to get notified of when I upload that. I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the AutoCraft so far. Make sure you go and watch everyone else on the server. On the left hand screen right now, there are 2 videos, one that YouTube wants you to watch and one that I think you should watch. Make sure you go and watch them, and remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully you will enjoy the videos.